here or over there?
More out here to go get.
Down in the tree council room, discuss that.
I do, I know.
Well, it got quiet, so I think that must mean you're ready to start. Welcome to the city of Euless. This is the 23rd year that we've done town hall meetings. So we were open to the public. What's the term that they're talking about? They bat around now? Transparent. Before transparent was cool. That's what we were. My name is Bob. That's all you have to remember about me. That's pretty simple. I'm the only one in the police department. And there may be others, but they won't admit it. And so that's where it's easy. Before we get started, we have a celebrity birthday. And so I think we ought to start by at least singing happy birthday. So Council Member Jeremy Tompkins, if you would please stand. And Mr. Bynum, who led the Trinity High School Choir.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The deal. So Mr. Bynum, if you would start.
Y'all mind joining with me? Today is Councilman Tompkins' birthday. He's 40 years old today. So we don't want to embarrass him, but we'll go ahead and sing a happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeremy. Happy birthday to you.
All right, just some housekeeping stuff. You know, this is fairly relaxed, and hopefully will stay that way. There are refreshments out that door. There are restrooms back to the right out there. In the event of a fire, our chief Rhodes on it, and he'll put it out. And as of this week, if there's a fight that breaks out, he'll take care of that part. Also, he's become part of the WWF or something. We don't use mics for this, and so if you have a question to ask here in a little bit, then I will ask you to say it. If you'll speak really loud, that helps everybody. And if you're kind of up here in the front, you got to remember there's people behind you. The board members may hear you, the people up here, but people in the back don't. So if I don't think you're loud enough, I will repeat the question for you. You may or may not like that. So, but I will try to do that. And then we'll answer. Let me introduce everybody that's up here. And I'm going to use a piece of paper. I won't put my glasses on, but I'll try to do this. And it won't be in any order other than the order on my list. We have the Mayor Pro Tem, Linda Eilenfeld.
I did.
Good. Council Member Jeremy Tompkins, birthday boy. Council Member and Trinity alumni, Perry Bynum. Council Member Eddie Price. Council Member Harry Zimmer. Say that to the last. Planning and Development Director Mike Collins. Fire Chief Wes Rhodes. Police Chief Mike Brown. Deputy City Manager Loretta Getchell. And the City Manager Gary McCain. So that's the illustrious brain trust that's up here at the front. There are also, you'll notice, lots of other city employees here. So we have Director of Public Works Hal Craner here if there's a public works question. Parks and Rec, Ray McDonald back here. Our Finance Director. Janina Jewell. I wasn't drawing a blank on the name, and then it dawned on me I didn't say her name. The new Deputy City Secretary, Lindsay Wells. I don't know where she's at. Oh, there she is. I know I saw her. Assistant City Manager Chris Barton. So, and then you'll see lots of blue suits, tan suits, other suits in here. So if you have questions, that's what we're here for, to try to answer those questions for y'all. If you have concerns, then we certainly want to hear those. We may not be able to give you the answer tonight. We may not be able to solve the concerns for you tonight, but we will promise to get back with you and try to come up with a solution or an answer, or at least you know you've been heard and we're aware of what the issue is. Any questions before we start? We will also.
I want to get on the agenda for the next meeting. Here for new Townhall apartments.
Okay. You want to be on the agenda for next Tuesday night? Okay. Lindsay, raise your hand again. You'll get with her afterwards. She'll help you get on it. Okay? All right. We will strive to be done at 8:30 because I know you all have other things that you may or may not want to be doing tonight. We appreciate you coming out here, but we will stay as long as you're here and you have something that you need. Okay? I have no canned questions, so if you don't ask questions, at 7:10 we would be done. So we will start. Yes, sir.
This is just an opinion for the school. I don't see any school district people here, but city handles the school. So I'm just putting my opinion. There is a flu season during this year, and a lot of kids have missed the school. And some kids make it to the school, even though they are contagious. That making other kids sick also. And the kids who can stay home, they're losing their exemption.
Okay, and I think you're correct from the standpoint there's not anybody from the school district
Right.
Here. We can certainly try to pass that concern on to them.
To the school district.
Yes, sir.
Because it will be not fair for the kid who is not hiding anything and staying home, they are losing their exemption.
Yes, sir.
And the kids, they are making it to the school because they don't want to lose their exemption and making other kids sick.
Yes, ma'am.
Could we find out where we are on the reclaimed water process and what areas might be served next?
Okay, the question is the reclaimed water, and we find out where we're at currently and where the future to that would be. And anybody want to tackle that question? Al Craner?
The system currently is in place. We finished the project where we built a pump station. We're in the process of hiring and engineering the second phase of that, which will run further north up on the street where we are now. Ultimately, in the next year or so, we hope to have a master plan that would master plan the whole system, which we're hoping to do a loop through the system, through the city at some time. But that will be done in the next year or so. Does that answer the question?
Somewhat. I live in Arbor Glen, which is between Midway between Maine and Fullerwhite. And we've noticed the purple valve covers and off the street. We were just wondering if that indicated that possibly we might come online anytime soon. It sounds like that's a negative.
How could you, probably 90% of people in here don't know, you say up there, they don't know where up there is. Could you explain where up there is and where it's going?
It's basically running Bear Creek Parkway. And it started and it crosses, we actually get our water from Fort Worth. It comes down Pipeline and then comes across 183 and runs north up Bear Creek Parkway. And I'm not sure what, it's basically to service the open area. not.
Common grounds.
Common grounds in all of those areas, and that's where we're hoping to save the amount of water that we need to for the conservation efforts that we're doing. But I'm not sure about your location and when it will be serviced.
So I'm on the board of directors, and we were looking at it for our common ground.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, looking at budgets and hoping we can save money, helping, saving our valuable natural resources.
Sure.
Probably the good news for you is we'd love to get it to our park, just to the west of you. And so kind of along the way. The biggest cost of that is the pipelines and anyone that's along the way. Just kind of put that in perspective for y'all, that with the water, Councilman talked a little bit about the drought contingency situation, but the current regional effort is to reduce our water consumption by 5%. We have another leg of this reclaimed water that serves the golf course and the Parks of Texas Star area. And I think just from that alone, we achieved our 5% reduction. And once this other section on the east side of town is done, it'll be closer to 8 to 10%. So we're doing a good job of achieving that water reduction. Of course, our water restrictions that we've all been on require us to do a little more. So we'll talk more about the water restrictions.
And we really think that we're a leading, cutting edge there. Because I think eventually, as we all know in Texas, more and more people will be doing things like this. So that really step down.
And as far as those green covers, from the police department standpoint, those are TCU, or purple alumni to put out there. The UNT alumni, I'm a UNT alumni, we're trying to find a can of green paint. We're going to go back and repaint it. I think that's a TCU deal and well deserved. Yes, sir.
J-Car Park, walking trails. They are a muddy mess, and they've been that way for ever. I walk every day. I seen a lady the other day jogging with her, trying to jog with her dog. She almost fell, hit the mud. I seen another lady, talked to her. She was walking beside the trail. And I asked her, I said, why are you walking beside the trail? She said, this is ridiculous. That's what she said. And it is ridiculous. You get mud in your car, you get mud in your life, and she throws you out. You gotta take your shoes off. This is going on. You know, Parks comes down and rakes it, okay? And then you get the rain and you're right back in the mud. And I really do think South Euless should have a nice place to walk. And that is not a good place to walk. It really isn't. I walk it every day. Every day. I would walk this morning. But I wasn't going to go down there in the mud. It's not muddy all the way around, but it is muddy. I can show you 3/4 inch deep footprints in that track. And I don't and have not gotten any real solution to it. And I think the only way it's going to be with class action. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, I see what goes on in North Euless. The money is spent in North Euless and the money is spent in South Euless. It's quite a bit different. And I think if you put this trail down by your gated community we've got going down there, it would be concrete.
You answer, you want
For sake of time, I'll answer that. This gentleman has brought this situation up for several years, and the answer somewhat remains the same. Most of our trails in Euless, or in any other city, are built in parks. Parks are typically in floodplain areas. Most of our trails are product trails, crushed limestone, and there are people that run that love it. There are people that run that prefer the asphalt. There are people that run that prefer concrete. And walkers are the same way. It's not a North Euless versus South Euless issue. Our newest park, Parks is the Glade Parks Creek in Northfield. It is predominantly a product trail. And we build trails in flood-prone areas when they rain. They're gonna get water in them. I mean, I used to live for 30-something years right around the corner from that trail, and I run and walk across the mobile walk and run that trail for years and years and years. And you're absolutely right. When it rains, I track in mud. Oh, I never keep me out in the holidays. So I don't, we have looked at this every single year you have brought it up. And I don't want to build any expectation that that trail is going to be anything other than the product that it is for a number of reasons. Predominantly because there are just as many people that don't want it in some other form as there are that do, and you can't please everyone. So I know you don't like that answer, sir, and you never liked it, but it is the same answer. And it is absolutely not a South Euless versus North Euless. In North Euless, there is a concrete trail. It was funded by the Texas Department of Transportation. We will be building a new one on the west side of 121 soon, but it is funded by TxDOT or Parks and Wildlife? TxDOT. So where the TxDOT is funding those, we're building. But we told you the same thing. I don't want to mislead you, and I don't want to promise the moon. There is no plans to do that trail or anything other than product. But if it needs to be maintained, they will certainly look at it and maintain it. Bad weather, it's going to get bad.
Do you not have funding for sidewalks?
Sir?
Do you not have funding for sidewalks for parking there?
No, we have, this is not a sidewalk. We build sidewalks most days of the year, but the trail to the park is not intended to be a sidewalk. It's intended for walkers and runners. And one other thing on that is, where you have concrete trails in our parks, in the low spots, it gets mud. When it rains, mud washes across them, and they have to go out there and clean the mud up. So it's not, you still get mud on your shoes, and you still get me in trouble. So I don't, that's the honest answer.
Well, I still can't understand why we can't put blacktop. People don't like to walk in the mud. A lot of people use that park. And the money that I see spent on North is $100,000 golf cart. You put special grass in it for the dogs, and people have to walk in the mud. I just can't buy that. You know, it's wrong. And the only way I say to do it is I'm going to have to do a class action. And if anybody hates lawsuits, I do. Because I think they're ruining this country. But that's the only solution I see. I think it's wrong.
You know, Arlington's also lost for the ADA route.
Ma'am, I think you had a question.
Actually, I'm going to add my 2 cents to his. I run, and I run in that park. I don't run at night in that park because it is too scary. It is too dark. It is extremely dark. And you have on the other side of the creek, Section 8 housing, and you have a lot of teenagers, and come up through that creek bed, and when it starts to turn dusk and dawn, you have homeless people in there now. And I have gotten to the point I won't go there anymore. And I live right around the corner. I'm at 712 Oakwood. And so, folks, we got an issue over there that really needs to be looked into. Yes, I agree, pathways, when it rains, I won't go. I don't mind running on the chalk, but at the same token, it needs to be supported. It is very muddy, just like you said. So when I get home, take off the shoes, I have to wash them off. I don't even drive, because I live close enough, I can walk and drive, either way. But the security, the darkness, especially when you're on that back curve and you're behind the gazebo, that's really scary. And I've left because homeless people started coming here. Something to consider.
Is it not true that where we have hard surface trails built, that because they are in floodplains, that they are constantly eroding, and it is prohibitively expensive to keep rebuilding them on a constant basis, where there are hard trails like the one that collapsed in going to the Bear Creek. But I mean, does it make much sense to put hard trails in a floodplain? These asphalt and white, concrete trails in a floodplain. I think that's, the presentation I heard Ray give one time was basically that argument that these hard surface trails, one reason why we don't is because it is so expensive to maintain and keep replacing them, because they are in floodplains and they're constantly getting eroded.
It is more expensive to build and replace, without a doubt. Is it, obviously, you've got varying opinions. I mean, your concern is very different than his.
Oh, I agree. But I do
and
agree with the fact that they go out a lot faster, so how much money are you spending to constantly replace that trail versus have you put in a supported blacktop underneath so that it doesn't erode as fast? Maybe that's something to consider. So I mean, there's the twofold, I have a twofold issue with that part. But yes, as far as the trail system itself, it is a softer surface to run on versus the concrete that you have over in Bob Eden, which I use that park also. But the same token, anytime it rains, I don't go. After a rain, I don't go. And I do see a lot of work having to be done in that park just to keep that trail system up. So the question I have for you is, what money are you spending in this park to support that trail system versus if you would look at a different type of trail, how much money do you spend in Bob Eden to support it versus how much money are you having to constantly spend man hours, hours of operation, supplies, time to support this trail system over here? So I'm looking at the whole picture, not just, is it eroding, is it not eroding, am I walking in mud or am I not walking in mud?
Obviously, we don't have the numbers for you tonight.
Yeah.
What is the cost of the trail, the west side? Call it $1 million for that trail west of 121 that will soon be built.
Yeah.
We can do a lot of maintenance for that. And that's, what's the distance? So I don't have the numbers, but I can assure you, it is very.
I didn't know he was bringing this issue up. I just happen to live in the neighborhood and use that park, and that's my issue.
Well, so we don't lose control, sit that down for a minute.
Okay,
But hang on, time out. But he wants to finish answering her question, so if you'll give us that, then I'll get back with you.
Let's let the police chief,
Let him finish.
Well, what I'd ask you to do is when you see homeless people in that park, give us a call.
Okay.
I mean, we try to be in the parks as much as we can.
Right.
Our
Y'all do have a decent presence over there. I have no qualms with that. It's just the couple of times that I've come, as it gets warmer, that's when they start to show up, and it's not the teenagers. Get that one. It's older gentlemen, and you just kind of go, well, what's going on here? I think I'm going to go home now.
well, I don't think any of our residents should ever be forced out of the parks because they don't feel safe.
Right.
And what I think the way that you can help us
Of
do
course.
that is to give us a call and let us get a chance to get down there
Just go over there
and
and see
find
what's
out
going
who
on.
those people are and let them know that we know they're there. And sometimes it's people that are in some kind of distress, and we can get them some help, plug them into social services, something like that moves them out of there and restores your confidence and your desire to go back down.
And not running mud.
There you go. All right.
Okay, this gentleman was next and asking a question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Barry, what's the criteria for getting a FASTOC grant? You get it anywhere?
Oh, no, there's very specific criteria, and it's the grant that is funding this project out here is what's the name of it?
Transportation Alternative Programs to the federal government that manages the FASTOC.
And the key is multi-jurisdictional, so because it will kind of tie into Bedford and Cotterville. But the main thing is it ties into other cities' trail systems, because ultimately you will be able to get from Highway 360 into the Cotterville and Grapevine system, the trail system that ties into the, you can get to 35 Bedford. And that's kind of the general purpose. They're not going to fund the major part. Right.
And just a reminder, so that everybody has an opportunity, please wait till we're finished. The people that are asking questions are finished and then I'll move to the next one. So, sir, I think, did you have a question or a statement? Sir, do you have a question or a statement now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was saying, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
I work for the Department of Public Works and Transportation in Arlington.
Okay.
And when we put the blacktop, which is asphalt, using temporary, the last number of years, and then we will go in with concrete. Because we know there's runners, there's people with strollers that use the little thing other than 2 inch separation in the concrete, it's considered a hazard. I don't know how it is in this city, it might be 3 inch, I'm not sure. But usually every walking trail has at least temporarily on asphalt, which is flat.
Thank you. Charlie?
Can we get an update on the development on Rio Grande? Any new stores going in, any businesses?
The question is a development on the update on the development of Glade Parks. And so, Mr. Collins?
We've got a detailed presentation prepared. Do we want to get into that now?
I think now would be a good time.
Address a couple questions?
You're ready, I think we're ready.
Mr. Parker? The location of the development, for those that may not have heard that, would be on the west side of 121 between Cheeksbarger and Glade Road. You might typically associate that area with the Super Target that's on the north end. South of that development is what we refer to as Glade Parks, which is 200 acres of a mixed-use development that we'll describe for you when we get some overhead. It's not overhead. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking in this direction. See.
Hey, nobody was going to tell you about that.
Maybe have to drive. Huh? If I can direct you to the very top middle screen, you can see that there is a label that's identified as K. Hoffnanian. That's the single-family development that is currently under construction that you would primarily access from the Heritage Road side, which is the road that goes north-south on the west side of the Glade Parks development. To the right of that, or to the north, is Urban Loft product that has been completed about a year and a half, something like that. There's over 400 units there that are being leased at a rate of about $1.55 a square foot. And we understand from talking with the manager there that it's about 98% full at this point in time. As we move east towards the 121 Service Road, that's where we get into the meat and potatoes of the commercial development, which is about 100 acres of the entire development. Within that development, if you were to drive out there today, you can see that Dave & Buster's is under construction. You can see the concrete tilt wall panels that have been erected. If you go farther to the north, you can see what we refer to as the inline retail development that's under construction. You can already see a sign out there for Dick's Sporting Goods. Along within that inline retail portion, that will include, I just mentioned Dick's Sporting Goods, that will include Five Below, Ulta, Michael's, Home Goods, Boot Barn, and Kirkland's. So that's going to be within that inline as you go adjacent to that Dick's as you go to the north. If we move out towards the service road where Rosa's Cafe and Raising Cane is located, there are several individual buildings that are under construction and several that we've got currently under plan review. But to give you an idea of some of the